The following program, offered by Fox 19, includes lawyers licensed in Kentucky. For those lawyers to maintain compliance with the Kentucky Bar Association requirements, the phrase, "This is an advertisement," must appear on the screen. Moore Law is underwritten in the public interest by the Moore Law Firm, a legal professional association. This is Moore Law on Fox 19.
Welcome to Moore Law. Today our topic is the truth about trial lawyers. Let's face it is not unusual to hear somebody bad-mouthing lawyers. Do you think there are too many lawsuits and too many lawyers making too much money? Well, besides all the bad press, what do you really know about lawyers and the work they do for ordinary people? Today we'll examine some myths and misconceptions about the legal profession, and we'll explain what you should expect from your attorney. If you have a question about lawyers and the law, give us a call at 513-421-4691. Before we start taking calls, though, let's take a look at what's coming up over the next few weeks. On September 23rd, Fighting the Insurance Company. October 1st, we'll be talking about bankruptcy, and October 8th, elder law. Our topic, though, today, the truth about trial lawyers. Don Moore, I have to think you love this topic.
I love this topic. I can't wait. I'm glad we've got a great guest. John Holschuh is here today. John, thanks for coming, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
John is active in the Ohio Association for Justice, which is a trial lawyer organization, as am I. He's former president of Cincinnati Bar Association, and John has a very busy practice handling medical malpractice cases.
Well, John, let's talk a little bit about, how does somebody know if they have a case? A lot of things happen. I'm sure a lot of people, we hear it all the time. Oh, did you sue somebody? How does somebody know if they have a case?
Well, we get calls all the time. I know Don does too, from people who want to know, do they have a lawsuit? And I always tell people, until I get the records, review the records, have a physician review the records, we can't tell. Don and I were talking a little bit beforehand that we both, though, like to talk over the phone, do some screening over the phone, and then make a determination whether we want to pursue a further investigation.
Okay.
In a medical malpractice case, which is what he does and I do a lot of also, frankly, we're going to turn down more than 90% of the people who call in, not because we don't want to represent them, but because A, they're very difficult, the percentages are always stacked against the plaintiff, and B, they're very expensive. So you can have a great case as far as the facts, there's definitely been a wrong, but if you don't have enough damages, it costs about $135,000 to put on a medical malpractice case in our office. John, is that similar experience for you, or is that different?
No, that's very similar, and usually we always, the upfront costs, it will cost money to get your records in Ohio. In Kentucky, you can get the records for free, but in Ohio, you have to pay for the records. But the big expense in the investigation, just to find out if there is a case, is hiring and paying a physician to review the records and render an opinion whether or not there is merit to pursue a claim or not.
Okay, so Don, define trial lawyer for me.
That's an excellent question.
And thank you. Every now and again I get one right.
Actually, you're full of them.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
All right. A trial lawyer has been defined by the media as lawyers who represent individuals, and they've done it in kind of a derisive fashion, basically that there's something wrong with representing people. A trial lawyer, that's something I didn't know until long after I was a lawyer, and my grandfather, father, uncle, they were all lawyers, and I know John's dad is also a federal judge. So what's a trial lawyer? It's somebody who represents individuals, usually in personal injury cases. And personal injury cases can run the gamut of anything from car accidents to medical malpractice to legal malpractice to slip and falls, premises liability, civil rights cases. All those are personal injury cases, and those are the kind of things that trial lawyers, as they call them in the media, handle for people who have been injured. So trial lawyers typically, there are lots of lawyers who go to trial, they don't call trial lawyers because they represent companies or large corporate interests. That's different. So we've kind of been the whipping boy. And John, of course, is former president of the Bar Association, at least for a time represented all lawyers, which included trial lawyers, defense lawyers, all kinds of lawyers. And I know you've heard a lot about that trial lawyer business, haven't you?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, in all truthfulness, I'm very proud to be a trial lawyer. I think it's one of the greatest honors a lawyer can have is to represent somebody. And I'm proud to say I'm a trial lawyer. There's not too many of us that go into the courtroom and battle for our clients. And I tell juries when I'm doing my jury selection, I said it is the highest honor a lawyer can have in representing somebody in a court of law and seeking justice. So if you ask me if I'm a trial lawyer, yes, and I'm very proud to be one.
Well, then where did that come from? Why do trial lawyers and lawyers in general get such a bad rap?
Well, I think they make great whipping boys. We make great whipping boys. Basically, if somebody gets hit with a large judgment, it must be the lawyer's fault. It couldn't be that the person really did something wrong and they deserve to be socked with a big judgment. It couldn't be about accountability. That is, if you hurt somebody badly, you should have to pay for your injury that you caused them. Oh no, let's blame the trial lawyer. They're greedy and nasty. That's what you hear all the time. And they've used that basically to change the law. Law's changed a lot in the state of Ohio in the last 10 years, like a whole bunch, something called tort reform. Why don't you tell us what that is or what it means to you?
Well, tort reform is basically a process that was enacted by the legislature with the backing of a lot of big business and insurance companies. As Don said, a law was passed not too long ago that has put a limit on how much can be recovered for pain and suffering, what they call non-economic damages in personal injury and in medical malpractice cases. So the legislature has enacted laws that limit how much a jury can award for compensation for pain and suffering. So that is part of the reform that has taken place. There have been other reforms, but that's perhaps the most significant and one that I think affects everyday people every day of their life. If you have a case and you've been injured, the legislature has determined the maximum you can recover for pain and suffering no matter what, whether you're a quadriplegic, whether you've lost an arm, whether you've lost a leg. There is a limit on how much a jury can award for compensation for other than for medical bills and lost wages.
Okay, all right, great. We want to go to the phones now. Let's start with Michael in Newport. Michael, you had a question about whether you can sue a hospital. Am I right about that?
Yes, I was wondering if you could sue a government-funded facility for malpractice.
John?
Yeah, it depends. There will be government. Are you talking about like the VA? Because to sue under the federal entity, you have to file what's called the Federal Tort Claim Act. It's an entirely different process than filing a complaint in state court. There's a specific procedure that you have to go through. You have to file a form, a claim form. The government, the Attorney General, has 6 months to decide whether or not to settle the case. Then you have a certain period of time after that within which to file a lawsuit. So if you're involved in an agency that is owned or operated by the federal government, it has to be pursued pursuant to the Federal Tort Claim Act.
All right. Great. Well, we are going to take a break right now. We'll be right back with the truth about trial lawyers. Give us a call, 513-421-4691.